of the day. This is Miss Tabassum. As you know that we have already started with Anindya Mukherjee's Across the Sahara on a Bicycle. Let's recapitulate. Anindya Mukherjee first visited Africa in 2005 and fell in love with the continent and thus wanted to revisit it. He chose to explore the largest desert of the world on a bicycle. He made a plan and searched out the best bicycle route. Finally, in 2012, he set out on his journey across the Sahara on a bicycle. So, let's read the further travel journal. The journey, Stage 1, Guelmim to Lyon, 27 February to 3rd March, 455 km, 5 days. Anindya Mukherjee now talks about his journey across the Sahara. He has divided his journey into stages. He started for Stage 1 on 27 February and completed it on 3rd March. Stage 1 was of 5 days and the distance covered by him during this period was 455 km. I landed in Guelmim on the morning of 26 February and instantly fell in love with this little city on the edge of the Sahara. I reassembled my bicycle and roamed the streets and bought a Tuareg scarf, which the shopkeeper taught me how to tie. On 26 February, Anindya landed in Guelmim, the gateway to the Sahara. He immediately liked the small city, which was just on the edge of the vast desert. He took his bicycle and wandered through the streets, and there he bought a Tuareg scarf. A scarf, generally wrapped as turban and a veil by the Saharan nomadic people Tuareg, and thus it got its name. The local shopkeeper even taught Anindya how to tie it. The next morning, I started my ride across the Great Sahara Desert. It was a now or never moment. On the very first day, I realized that the deciding factor of this trip was going to be the direction of the wind. Over the course of my journey, we developed a love-hate relationship depending on its direction. I stopped that day in the desert town of Tantan and found a cheap night's shelter. I gorged on street food with the satisfaction of the first day behind me. It felt good, as after weeks of planning in India and waiting for the paperwork in Rabat, this was finally happening and I was moving. The very next morning, Anindya started his ride and he was very sure that he had to continue this expedition as it was a now or never moment for him. On the very first day, he realized that the direction of wind was going to be the most important reason or decisive factor for his journey. He developed a conflicting emotion during his journey across the Sahara. As in some places the journey was very smooth, whereas in few places it was full of obstruction. He also mentioned that he ate a lot of street food during the day. After a tiresome journey, Anindya dropped in an inexpensive accommodation. He really felt overjoyed as his planning of moving across the Sahara was actually happening. And he was really wandering through the vast desert. The next morning, I rode only 25 kilometers to the beach town of Tantan Plague and reached the town of Akfenir the next day. On the way, the terrain was a stony desert type, and the road often came very close to the Atlantic Ocean. Sometimes I used to get off the bike and stand by the cliff as I watched the endless big waves of the Atlantic. I also met a Chinese cyclist riding from Gambia who had skipped the desert section by using public transport. But then I wouldn't have done so, as riding the desert section was my precise objective. That night, I found a very affordable place to sleep in Akfenir and got to eat a delicious plate of fish for dinner. The very next morning, Anindya rode only 25 kilometers of Tantan Plague, which is a beach town, and reached the town of Akfenir the next day. On the way, the area was a stony desert type, and the road often came very close to the Atlantic Ocean. Anindya was so fascinated by that place that sometimes he used to get off his bicycle and stand by the cliff to watch the gigantic waves of the Atlantic Ocean. On his way, he met a Chinese cyclist who was riding from Gambia, but he avoided riding through the desert section and crossed that part by using public transport. Anindya affirms that he wouldn't have done so, as riding the desert section was his exact intention. That particular night, he found a very affordable place for his night stay, and there he ate a sumptuous dinner. As I rode to Tarfaya on 2nd March, the wind turned into a storm, and I received my first taste of the desert's wrath. At first, I was shocked at the tremendous force of the wind. It was impossible to ride with sand flying everywhere. I pushed the bike along and thanked the Tuareg scarf at every step of the way. The storm lasted for nearly 5 hours. Finally, a shop appeared in the middle of nowhere, and I took shelter there for 2 hours. When I reached Tarfaya, I felt grateful for the warm shower and the cozy hotel bed. On 2nd March 2012, as Anindya Mukherjee was cycling to Tarfaya across the Sahara, the wind became violent and it turned into a storm. At first, he was utterly shocked at the massive force of the wind. It became almost impossible for him to ride through the desert as the wind swept the sand everywhere. Somehow, he pushed along his bicycle through the storm, and every moment he was being thankful for having the Tuareg scarf, as it helped him to cover his head and face and obstructed the sand from hurting him. The storm continued for nearly 5 hours. Finally, Anindya could see a shop, where he took shelter for around 2 hours. When he reached Tarfaya, he felt blessed as he got to drop in a good hotel where he took a shower and found a comfortable bed. My next destination was Lyon. The ride was quite monotonous. The wind was also very kind, and I quickly forgot how it had terrorized me just 24 hours earlier. Such is the blessing of movement. Before you know it, all the bad memories are blown away into oblivion. Anindya's next destination was Lyon. The ride was quite boring for him as he was cycling alone through the desert. The wind became normal that day, and thus he quickly forgot how the storm had terrorized him just a day before. Anindya says that movement is a blessing as all the distressing and unpleasant memories are being forgotten with the passage of time. As I reached Lyon, I realized how big a city it was. Suddenly, I was surrounded by city buses, taxis, cafes, restaurants, hotels, and monuments. As Anindya reached Lyon, he was surrounded by city buses, taxis, cafes, restaurants, hotels, monuments, and realized that it was a big city. That's all for the day. We will be continuing with the remaining part of Anindya Mukherjee's travel journal in our next class. Wish you all a very happy and glorious day ahead.